Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. You loved our next guests in Maniac and Dietland, and you can now see Lauren Ebanks in the new Boston set Showtime series, City on a Hill. Let's take a look.
Fellas.
And here comes trouble.
Crossy Ward. Jackie Roy, FBI. You mind if I call you D?
I have an arraignment.
Arraignment's what I want to talk to you about. Your suspect's an informant of mine. He's working a decent case.
You want me to let him off?
Is there a misunderstanding here?
No. See, I understand perfectly.
What are you, some kind of asshole? I got no love lost for the Boston Police Department, but there was a time when I would never have to explain myself. There's 100K in a bag and you turn it in with only 75. Doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
How's your night?
Awful.
What was so bad about work?
This is affirmative action hire. This is the next mayor of Boston. Asking jail time for cops.
I want to rip out the machinery in this bullshit city. I want to tear it all down.
What the fuck do you need me for?
The crew knocked over an armored car. I don't want this investigation taken from me.
Then we do it my way.
This shit that you pull, it don't just affect you.
I'm sorry.
You didn't promise him anything, did you?
They handed me a shit case, then they don't want me to prosecute.
Why didn't you just do what they asked?
I'm not their fucking boy.
We use what you've got. We scare every piece of shit in this city.
I want to go into Charlestown and I want to fuck that place up. Fuck anyone else who gets in my way.
Now, you see, this is good. This means you're learning.
Everybody, please welcome Lauren Ebanks. Hey. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on the show. It's
Thank
fantastic.
you. God, yes.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Most of your scenes, or a lot of your scenes from what I've seen, are with Aldis Hodge,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
What is it like working with him?
It's great working with Aldis. I mean, I was a fan of Aldis before working with him, so when I got the opportunity to even audition for this part, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great because I think, you get to see him in a way you haven't seen him before. And I think he's an extremely talented artist and a generous actor and scene partner. So
What does that mean for you? Because I think that means different things for different actors. What does a generous scene partner mean for you?
generous means, well, when you're working on the scene, they're really open and it's not about them, it's about the work. And when you prioritize the work, then you value your other collaborators' input. And Aldis, often will call me after we get a script so we can talk about it. We will do a scene even during the pilot when he had no reason to even, trust me. We just met maybe 4 days earlier. He valued me as a collaborator and a partner in making sure that we were able to, bring forth our best work. So yeah.
It's such an interesting dynamic on sets and between actors, I find, because every actor wants to feel like they're being generous and being a good scene partner.
Yeah.
But sometimes what their idea of that is very protective of themselves.
Right.
And they don't necessarily know that they are being closed off or
Correct.
not being generous
Correct.
in some
Yeah.
way.
I think also it's generosity comes in how you approach the work as an actor. For example, like you said, you can be very insular and not giving within the scene because the camera is on me for a certain amount of takes and then the camera is on him for a certain amount of takes. And when the camera is not on one of us, generosity comes in how we give to the other scene partner to boost, their performance.
Right, like the camera's on you. He's not
Yeah.
sitting there on his phone being like,
Right.
yeah, I'm mad at you.
Or having or saying, can you just give can she look at an X,
Let's get the second AD in here.
Yeah,
and
can we have my
them.
stand-in? Yeah.
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 When did you start acting? What's your background?
I started acting in middle school. Professionally, I started, after college, but middle school is where I found that I really enjoyed this work. And it was drama club. Kenneth Warmack was my teacher, and
Where was this?
Durham, North Carolina.
Okay.
So it was Shepherd Middle School, and there were about 6 of us because everybody was into sports. So there were about 6 of us in the auditorium doing improvs all day long. And
I was in that club.
Yeah?
Not that club, but I was,
The drama club.
Oh yeah, and there was like 6 or 7 of us.
Yep.
that were in the cafeteria doing improvs.
That's correct.
And there were maybe 3 people from the school in the cafeteria who enjoyed it.
Yes.
And the rest were going, these people are so annoying.
Yeah, and weird and everything. Yeah, so that's where it started. And then high school is where I decided, oh, this is what I actually want to do, you know, on a professional level.
So did you go to school for it afterwards? Did you go to college?
I attended Howard University,
wow.
and I got my BFA from Howard.
Wow, so
Yeah.
you come out of college and you're auditioning. What was the first sort of big thing that you got?
So the first thing I did on film, for example, was for the National Black African American History Museum at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. So Lorraine Motel was the final resting place of Dr. Martin Luther King, and they have a video that kind of chronicles the fight for civil rights all the way from emancipation forward. And I play one of the characters in that depiction in the beginning. It was something I was really proud of because
Yeah, that's
just like our
fascinating.
show, I really love being able to do something that is steeped in history and yet, you know.
But that's also such an interesting thing to do because there's an incredible responsibility.
Correct.
And there are going to be millions of people who see that.
Right.
Because they're going to go to the people are going to go to the
Time,
museum
yeah.
and they're going to see that.
So many people have seen it.
So
From
many
all
people
over
have
the
seen
world.
it. But at the same time, it's not like it's technically like an industrial video or something in some way.
Yep.
So
yep.
like
I got paid $700
Yeah.
whole dollars for it.
I mean, I
but
just
was like,
imagine
I
that-
got a check for something I love doing.
I just imagine that's such a layered experience.
For sure,
Where it's
for
like,
sure.
I'm doing an industrial, but I'm also probably doing the most important kind of industrial that you could do.
Yep.
And you have to take it wildly serious, but I'm sure you get
Absolutely.
to set or whatever the set is, and you're like, not the greatest set, right?
But I was straight out of school and at that time undergrad, you know, and I was very happy to be there and working with everybody who, you know, made that happen. And then I left after Howard. I did a series of like regional theater in the DC, Washington, Baltimore area.
Any good parts?
Really, yeah. I actually did Edgar and Annabelle was this original play that was a British playwright wrote by, her name is Claire, oh God, can't think of Claire's last name. She's a Wyndham Campbell Prize winner. She's excellent. So, but Edgar and Annabelle is it was the role that I got to originate, and that was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, that's when I went to Yale. So I was
Yale School of
I was
Drama?
like a year out of Howard, and then I applied for Yale.
What is I'm curious, Yale School of Drama is like, you know, it's maybe the #1 drama school in the country, right?
Yeah.
That Juilliard maybe. And
Yeah, I think Juilliard came right after. They just put out an article about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, well, look at you. You're in the article.
I mean, it's just, you know.
What is the Yale?
I feel like there must be Juilliard people in the room. They snickered.
What is the Yale School of Drama like? What is that program like?
Well, it is. The School of Drama is a 3-year program. All concentrations of the theater are a part of the program. So you have the actors, you have the playwrights, you have the dramaturgs,
Playwright
directors.
program is probably the best playwright program in the
It is
country.
exceptional. Yeah, the playwrights come out of there and do a great job.
Well, they hunt. I mean, it's not like anyone goes to that playwright program. That playwright program is
No.
they're hunting for basically like who's going to be the top playwrights. In a lot
3
of ways.
playwrights a year.
3 a year.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. So there's that. They're all exceptional. But the program was, the first year I was there and I was like, oh my God, I'm in drama school. This is great. I get to concentrate on what I love. The second year, I felt like I was hit by a Mack truck every time I walked out.
Why?
Because we were working 15, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. Sunday was your day to do laundry and everything else you needed to do. Most of my meals, I think any drama school student or even conservatory student can relate, but it's nonstop.
Did you ever
training.
have a moment where you were like, I don't know if I like acting?
Oh, heck no.
You can curse, it's okay.
No, not at all. No, it was what I wanted. I think it's what I wanted my undergrad experience to be, but thankfully it wasn't that. It was a mix of extreme rigor, but also I got to just understand who I was as a person and have a great time and really, truly find myself, as I think all undergraduate programs are for. And then once I got to go to drama school, it was like, okay, now I get to focus in and truly have nothing else to do in New Haven but train.
That's true. There's very little. There's Pepe's Pizza, and
Yeah,
that's
there's
about
Pepe's.
it.
Yep.
Do people who live in New Haven go to Pepe's, or is that just for tourists?
I think, no, we go to Pepe's.
It's so good. How could you not?
It's far off, but it's good. It's really good.
the best.
And yeah. There's a lot of great pizza and Thai food in New Haven.
It's something because of the water, I've heard.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like there's something in the water in New Haven that makes good pizza. But that sounds ridiculous
well,
now
yeah,
that I say it out loud.
I think that can happen.
Sure. The white clam, the white clam pizza at Pepe's though. If anyone's in New Haven, go. It's pretty
The
great.
white clam pizza is
Yeah.
what you have to try.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
it's
So
perfect.
good. Anyway, so I'm only 2 episodes into City on a Hill. It's fantastic, and I haven't gotten to the scene yet. But I'm imagining there has to be a dinner scene between Kevin Bacon and his family and you and Aldis.
Not quite.
But you get to meet Kevin Bacon, I would imagine.
I do.
What is it like? What is it like doing scenes with Kevin Bacon? He is an icon.
He's Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you see Kevin Bacon's work and you think he's cool in his work, to work in a scene outside of working with him, he's like cooler than any characters he's even ever played. Kevin is like, he's so dropped in, especially as Jackie. And so when the camera rolls, he comes in hot. He knows his line's cold and he comes in hot. You know what I mean? Like he is awesome. And Jackie is not the best character on our show in terms of moral compass, but Kevin has
Everybody
a way
hates
of playing this villain and that is very charming. So like even being in a scene with him, I'm like, damn, I'm not supposed to like you, but you're
Kevin Bacon.
You're Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon, but you're also your character. The way he slides into Jackie is so seamless and so spot on and just so smart that you really just kind of fall into a masterclass of acting, and then you remember the camera's on you.
Is he at the point where he just drops in like when it's time to roll, or is he sort of walking around as Jackie on set a little bit?
I do notice like his gait is definitely Jackie when the camera isn't rolling. Like he's walking around like, in the way that Jackie moves, because I think Kevin kind of moves in a more subtle, slow, at a slower pace. But beyond that, he's just Kevin chilling. Like, hey, what you doing? What movies have you seen lately? Oh yeah, I gotta check that out.
Right.
And we're just
shooting the shit up in between takes. So tell me more about your character, because from what I've seen, you are you are Aldis Hodge's wife.
Yeah, he plays my husband.
Yeah, he plays your husband. And the friction or the dynamic is that he's really going out on a limb with his career.
Yes,
Yeah.
we both are, which is crazy. I feel like so like Siobhan is an attorney as well. So Aldis is the assistant DA, and Siobhan is a private attorney. She's also an activist and a community organizer, because she's starting what is called the 10-Point Coalition, which is an initiative to help end the crime in Boston. Because as you know, our show takes place in 1992, and it is overcome. The city is literally overwhelmed with violence and drugs and all kinds of really bad things that aren't great for the city, and yet there's a part of the population who want to keep it that way and another part of the population who want to see a lot of change happen. And I think Siobhan and DeCourcy are a part of that sector of the community who really want to find that change.
Kevin Bacon's character Jackie doesn't want that change.
Yeah, not initially, at least. And I don't think he really wants the change, but there is something about being when you're at his point, you're thinking about legacy, you're thinking about what have you really done with your life that is of value, and you start to look inward to see, like, am I a human being that my children and people will be proud of? And like, our show starts with the funeral. It's like, what will people say about Jackie at his funeral? I think his character thinks about those things. I think for Siobhan and DeCourcy, we both want to see change happen, but we come from 2 different sides of the fence in terms of how we want to go about that. And I think we have a lot of interesting conversations about that indoors and inside our home and outside of home about doing that. I think Siobhan is a very much an individual. Her name is Siobhan Keys. She didn't take DeCourcy's last name. She is raised by an activist. Her mother is an activist, played by Gloria Rubin. And Siobhan is really blazing a trail that she has very little a very little, it doesn't have a blueprint for. And, but she's very hopeful and very ambitious and also a little bit idealistic in a good way, in some ways that are, not the best. She makes a lot of mistakes, but I think her power is in learning from those mistakes. So, yeah.
What was it like researching about Boston at this time? Because outside of it being crime-ridden in 1992, it's also a notorious city for racial disparity
Yes.
and race issues.
Well, the research, because I was not super conscious in 1992 myself, like I was probably, I was walking, but that's about it. And so I had to do a lot of research just to know what was in the zeitgeist in 1992 and what was on an adult's conscious for Siobhan, for example, what was on an adult's conscious for that period. So before I even got to Boston, I did a lot of research with like documentaries. There's a great documentary on Netflix called The 80s and the 90s, and they just chronicle everything that happens from politics to, sports to TV even. So funny enough, I found they talk about our showrunner, Tom Fontana, on that same documentary because of Oz, because of St. Elsewhere even.
Oh, right.
And
I
how
didn't realize Fontana was St. Elsewhere
that's
as well.
Tom Fontana.
Yeah. He's a legend.
He is. He really is. And so that's where my research began. And then I went up we shot the pilot in Boston, and I also went up to Boston because my character, Siobhan, is from Cambridge. And so I got like an Airbnb, where I planned to get an Airbnb in Cambridge. One of our writers on the show, Michelle McPhee, she actually gave me her apartment. So that was great, but I just went to kind of get a sense of the space and the people and feel the spirit of the place. And she grew up near Harvard because her mother was a professor at Harvard. And so I, toured Harvard and everything. But in terms of the crime, I spoke with a lot of people who were actually instrumental in helping make the Boston Miracle happen, because that is the political time in which our show overarches, which is the Boston Miracle, which is around 1996. Boston was able to lower the crime rate by like 80%. And for almost 34 months, they didn't have a single teen die from any kind or be involved in any kind of violent crime. So I talked to those people who are on the ground actually making that happen, and listening to their stories was like enough. Seeing some of those flashbacks and the look in their eyes and their mannerisms and everything helped me understand what was happening for them and what was motivating them. So, yeah.
I think we have time for a couple questions from the audience. Who has a question? Hi there.
Hi. We actually have a question from our site, buildseries.com.
Okay, cool.
When not filming in Boston, what's your favorite thing to do there?
When not filming in Boston, well, it's definitely eating.
You guys mostly filmed the show
around
here, though?
We filmed here in New York at the Steiner Studios and in Boston.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, I was in Boston this weekend because we had some scenes there. But it's kind of like my favorite pastime, eating. And so, like, anything that's like what is it? The lobster rolls are really good, but the clam chowder is also great. So I just kind of do both.
Massachusetts.
It's Massachusetts, and eating, also going to the South End or Back Bay and
Have you
eating
been down
there.
to the Cape yet?
I haven't been down to the Cape. What's
You
that?
should go to Cape Cod.
Oh, yeah, I've been to Cape Cod,
Oh, yeah.
but I thought that was maybe a neighborhood in Boston that I didn't know.
No, sorry. It's
The
just,
Cape, I thought maybe you knew something I didn't know.
I'm from Massachusetts, so
Oh, okay, what part?
I'm from Western Mass.
Okay.
Like East Hampton, Northampton.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a couple hours west of
Yes,
Boston.
yes.
Yeah, but we go to the Cape every year.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
It's
great.
perfect. Yeah. Clam chowder got me. I'm hooked.
It's the best, clam chowder and lobster rolls.
Yeah.
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 I think we have time for one more question.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to know who's been your favorite person to do a scene with in your career?
In my career? Whoa.
Or maybe just on this show.
Well, I mean, no, I'm just getting started, so that shouldn't be that hard, but it's not my favorite person to do a scene with. I feel like Aldis Hodge is watching this right now and is like, you should say me. She's going to say me, right? But that's an obvious, so I don't have to say it, Aldis.
Saw your interview. Didn't say me. Yeah.
The first thing that stood out to me was outside of our show, I worked on Maniac with Cary Fukunaga, and I did a scene with Jonah Hill. And if you've seen that show, you know how crazy it was and the characters that he played. So he was in character deeply. And I hadn't seen Jonah in a while since like he lost weight and everything. So when I saw him, I didn't even recognize him. Doing that scene with him was pretty awesome. It was just really cool, and I just learned a lot from watching him, you know. So yeah, I would think it would be Jonah.
Thank you.
I admire his art a lot.
Lauren, the show is called Seated on a Hill. It premieres Sunday night.
Sunday
on
at
Showtime.
9.
Are you excited for the premiere?
Yes, I'm so excited.
I'm sure it's the pilot, so I'm sure you shot it, what, like a year ago, probably?
Maybe like 2 years ago.
Like 2 years
December
ago.
17th.
And
like
it's just being
after
seen
I
by the world.
graduated.
That's
I
incredible.
know, it's crazy.
Congratulations.
I have to live tweet it, so I haven't tweeted in like 15 years, so I look forward to tweeting.
So you're gonna sit and watch it. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Amazing.
What? I gotta watch it.
Of course.
I know some people don't like to watch it, but maybe one day I'll get tired of it. Maybe.
Congratulations, Sunday night at 9 p.m. on Showtime.
Yes.
Lauren E. Banks, everybody, let's hear it.
Thanks.